piano time.
Welcome back to the Enjoy the Walk podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you guys tuning in again this week. We got a pretty special one here. He's done some work for crew members Dante and Isaiah on the flat stick side of things. Pretty much an artist. If you guys don't follow him, go give him a follow. It's at @s_dot_putters. The man behind the legendary page is Stephen Barry, and he's here to join us and just chat golf and all of his beautiful putter magic. So, Steven, thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No doubt. So, we gotta start off with how you're connected through kind of the Ron Jaworski side of things at Running Deer and Dante. It's pretty cool. I mean, Golf Drawn, the company Golf Drawn is out of there. You are out of there with S. Putters, and now Dante with Enjoy the Walk. Is there something in the water up there at Running Deer, or what's going on up there in New Jersey?
You didn't hear? We got Jaws water now, baby.
Yeah,
Come on.
right. Ain't that the truth, man?
A little inside joke there, but yeah, Ron did release his own branded water. It's called Jaws water, which is kind of funny. It's a little bit of a joke we have up there, but no, I don't know. I guess I honestly don't know. Maybe it's just coincidental or anything, but I think that the community's kind of a little bit smaller and more tight knit, and people just love the sport up here, so they want to make a career out of it, and they kind of go that route. So I guess that's it. I have no other explanation for it besides the Jaws water.
Yeah, right.
Hey, well, I like the saying there's something in the water, and obviously there's something to that up there. Now, how many Jaws courses are up in that area, guys? I'm not too familiar with all those Jaworski-owned courses up there.
6. I believe there's 6. So there's Running Deer, River Winds, Valley Brook, Blue Heron Pines, Bramblewood, and Downingtown. Yeah,
and then
6.
he just acquired. Well, I think he owned it, but now they're officially under the Jaws Golf Management. Honey Run out in York, Pennsylvania. He picked that one.
That's
up.
mine.
6, 7.
Old stomping grounds. I grew up in Gettysburg, just outside of York, so I played a good many junior matches at Honey Run. That's a pretty good course if you guys get a chance to go out to it. But
nice.
Yeah. So did you grow up in the New Jersey area, or what brought you into New Jersey area if you didn't grow up there?
I did. I get born and raised in South Jersey. I spent my summers in PA. My parents were never together, so I would spend my weekends and my summers with my dad over in Bucks County, right outside of Philadelphia. But other than that, I was always in South Jersey, born and raised. So I lived kind of near River Winds, which is basically if you stood on the roof of our house, you can see the skyline of Philadelphia, but just on the Jersey side of it. And that was basically it. I mean, moved a little bit further south to Mullica Hill, and that's where I live now, and just kind of living the dream up here.
And the funny thing about Mullica Hill is how I met Steve.
Oh, boy. That's actually a good story.
I had a Scotty Cameron that I picked off. I don't even remember where I got it, but besides the point. Anger management Dante over here gets pissed one day, and I baseball bat the ball, end up bending the hosel of the putter. So I'm like, I'm not using this thing. So I'm scrolling through Facebook, and if anybody knows, Facebook group has Golf Club Traders. It's basically a giant community group over like 40,000 people, and you can go on and anybody's just selling any of their golf equipment through there. A lot of the time it's Scotty putters. So I'm like, I really like my Scotty to see if I can find another one. So I'm scrolling. And the next thing I see, I'm in Glassboro, New Jersey, and Mullica Hill's about 10-minute ride. So the next thing I see this putter for sale, and it was a Scotty Cameron. It was Monterey, California, I believe. It was like smoke, had this nice gray smoke color to it. I'm like,
cool black oxide.
Yeah,
black paint fill. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. I'm like, this thing is sick. So I was like, I reach out and I'm like, that still for sale? Yeah. Mullica Hill? Yeah. I'm Glassboro. He goes, no shit. I was like, where he play out of? He goes, Running Deer. I was like, get the fuck out of here. He's like, no way. I was like, yeah, me too. He goes, get out of here. And that's out of and never seen him. And I've been there for.
Dog, let me cut him off. I was more upset though because now I knew I had to discount the putter. I'm like,
no.
man, now I'm gonna lose a few dollars here, son of a bitch.
That family discount always hurts.
Well, I did
totally
give him.
kidding,
I did.
Dante,
I was like,
totally.
yeah, I know. So I gave him my I bent one, which he did fix, and then punch that back out, which I could have just asked him to fix that one, but I was like, you know what, I just want a nice good one. So it was pretty wild. Out of 40,000 people, we've been playing at the same course for a few years now. Never probably crossed paths, but didn't even realize it. Next thing I know, out of 40,000 plus people, I meet him online, and he's 10 minutes away.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. It's small. Golf does have a weird way of shrinking the world, without a doubt. It's just nuts. But,
I tell you what,
it was
so true about that statement, especially in golf.
Yeah, crazy. But it was definitely a good story. That was funny, really funny.
That's hilarious.
So it's sitting over there on the wall, and the other one he did. I still have it. I had the blade putter from when the greens get a little bit firmer. I ended up getting that the TaylorMade Ardmore 3 that he did work on. He popped out the plastic insert.
For it, yeah.
Yep. And then I pretty much wanted like a more heavier, maybe like a mallet putter just for the winters, because you know how the greens get when we play in the winter conditions. And then so I was like, all right, if I could just have something to just get the ball there, so I don't have to. I really wanted to get it so I didn't have to mess with my stroke as much. Let me just tell you this new putter. He put got a shaft for it as well. Put that in there, and then I got that P2 grip. That putter's staying in the bag. I think the Scotty's just gonna chill.
I will vouch for you on that. I hit a couple putts with it down when we were down in Orlando. Not only does it look absolutely beautiful when you set the thing down, but that copper insert, you can really tell the difference when you just hit, especially some longer putts.
Good, yeah.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
It feels good, and it gives a little bit more weight too. I mean, you're adding at least 40 grams of weight to it. So, I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, 40 grams, but when it's at the end of a stick, you can feel it. You can feel it.
100%. So. I know even when you change out some weights in the Scotty Camerons, when you go from like a 10 and a 10 gram weight on the heel and toe to a 15, that's only 10 gram difference, but it feels like the world. So I can only imagine what a 40 gram difference will do to it.
It turned out really well. I was actually pleasantly surprised at that because I didn't know how it was going to come out, because I've never actually done a putter like his, like an Ardmore, like the newer TaylorMade putters, and it was a good challenge for me, and it came out perfect.
Now, speaking of a challenge, Isaiah can't join us tonight because he's taking a job up in the Virginia area. He's moving apartments and dealing with all that fun stuff. So God bless him there. But he brought you a thrift shop putter a while back, and you had some fun with that one. Tell us a little bit about that endeavor.
The Ping Answer, I'll never forget it. I should actually get some pictures printed out and just post them in my office. So lefties are always a little different. For some reason, like my shop, I set everything up. I set it up for righties. I mean, it's not purposely done. It's just when you're doing putters, you set them up what's going to be most efficient for you. Your grinding wheels, your drill, everything. So lefties get a little bit different, especially with like my polishing wheels and stuff like that. So would that be? I mean, I don't know. Or Dante brings it over, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, man, I don't know if you guys know what the word pitting means, but pitting is basically when a metal, it rusts, and if you don't take care of the rust right away, it'll actually start to eat away at it. So you'll start to get these little pinholes in the metal that just are in random spots. So with that putter, you couldn't really tell how bad the pitting was because it was just so dark and caked over. So when Dante brought it, I was like, yeah, this shouldn't be a problem at all. And I polished up the top line and said, hey man, look how good this is going to come out. This is going to look great. So, I mean, you got to imagine the whole putter is basically black at this point. It's just like completely rusted over. And when I polished the top line, no pitting whatsoever. And I'm like, yeah, it's going to turn beautiful. Don't worry about it. Okay.
How quick you did that. It looked, Dante sent us some pictures and I was like, oh, baby, this thing's going to look good. It looked so crisp, so clean, and probably like even to your point too, it was like so easy. It was like, oh, this thing's going to be a breeze.
So I told Dante, he was in my garage / shop with me, and I'm like, I show him the rack of putters I have, and I'm like, listen, you're like 8th in line here, so give me some time, I'll get it done. Okay, no problem. So then I start to work on it, keep working on it, and it's like, man, what did I get myself into with this? I mean, as I'm polishing, it's just more pitting, and there's only so much you can take off before you start to lose the balance of the putter. You take off too much metal, it becomes too light. And luckily, I mean, I just slowly but surely, I took off a little bit at a time, and I was able to get it looking just about brand new. I mean, that thing was, when it left here, I want to keep it. I mean, I'm not a lefty, but it looks so good. I'm like, it's a beautiful putter. So hopefully it's a shame he couldn't make it tonight, but hopefully he's enjoying it. I'm really hoping he really likes it.
Dante's got some sticky fingers on his end too.
I still have to send it out to him. So.
Oh my God. Come on, Don.
It's sitting in my room.
I will say people can go to our Instagram at Enjoy the Walk Pod and check it out. We did do a post about it. I'm a gearhead. I'm a nerd when it comes to that stuff. What kind of finish did you end up putting on that? Because it ended up looking like a putter that I've really never seen before, and in a great way.
So what we do, or I have a media cabinet, what it's called, and it's different abrasives that you can use to come up with different finishes. So for example, Scotty Cameron, if you get a brand new Newport 2, this year's model, 2020 model, the finish you'll see on that is a glass bead blast finish. So he basically just puts it in a media cabinet with air and glass bead, like little tiny pellets of glass, and sprays it, and it gives it that nice matte finish. So with Isaiah's it's basically the same type of finish, just a little bit more abrasive, a little higher PSIs in the air to give it more of an abrasive look to it. More of a, not abrasive, that's a wrong word, flat, more of a flat finish, more than a satin or a matte. It's more flat. And then if you notice the bottom I left polished, because I explained to Dante, for some reason I just like a polished bottom. That's the way I like it. It just looks better. But also the excuse I gave Dante, I feel like it won't get stuck on the grass when you have it placed down behind the ball. And if you're not a hoverer, you're going to take it directly back. And if it's smoother, it'll come off smoother. So there's no rhyme or reason to that madness. It's just something that
I'm so glad you left at least one part of it shiny and nice and glossy, I guess, because the way that thing started out, one part of it deserved to kind of just be shined up, polished up real nice, because as people will see when they go to our Instagram or your Instagram and check it out, where this thing started, to get any kind of beautiful polish on it is a miracle in itself. So I'm glad at least one part of the putter shows that. You worked some miracles on that.
You also, the other thing you got to think about is playability too. Anything shiny in the sun is going to reflect right back in your eyes, and it's just if you've ever had a chrome wedge, I don't know how people can even use a chrome wedge. I've tried it one time, used it for one round, then I went home and put it in the media cabinet and got rid of the shine, because I just don't like that glare hit me back up in the eyes. So that's another reason why I just don't like to keep anything on top polished or shiny, because you're going to use it. You know, it's not. I mean, if you're going to keep it in your office and hang it up, it's a different story. We can make a mirror finish on that. But if you're going to use it, I always tell people, like, the least shiny, the better. It's not going to look as pretty, but it's going to be more playable.
I think this thing looks sweet.
Yeah,
just that finish.
Is that why it's still in your closet, Dante?
It's gotta be.
I'm going cross-handed, left-handed. I'm gonna be a left-handed putter.
I got a buddy just switched to left-handed putting. He's loving it.
You know what, Dante?
Not Andy, is it?
Take no offense to this, but you're enough lunatic to be able to do that.
Yeah. You definitely are. I can vouch for that.
I thought it, because I'm actually a natural lefty when it comes to anything with like writing, or if I were to shoot pool, or if I were to handle like a shotgun or something along those lines, or that. I mean, but no, like eating and all that, I'm actually left-handed, so I've messed around with the cross-handed lefty putter before. I mean, actually, it's still sitting in my room, so I was rolling some putts with it, and I'll tell you this, it feels great.
I just want to let you know, Isaiah's probably going to listen to this. It came out of here flawless. Any scratches, dings, dents, they're all done by Dante.
There is no insurance
I'll make sure it
policy
gets
through Dante's door.
No. Nope. No insurance policy on that.
That's great.
I guess I'd love to know, your page is awesome, and it goes back a good ways. You know, what got you into wanting to do putters? What got you, you know, caught the bug? Did somebody just say, hey, like, check this out, maybe paint fill my putter? Or like, what got you down the road of saying, man, I want to do custom putters, refinish putters? You know, you have it.
You know, it's funny. Nothing of that. So I've always been pretty good with my hands. I did woodworking work. I based our old house. I tore down and rebuilt from scratch. I built sheds. I've done roofs. So I've always been good with my hands. And I was on, like Dante, on one of these golf club trader pages, and a guy was selling 3 Scotty Cameron putters. This was years ago. 3 Scotty Cameron putters for $150, and they were all banged up. I'm like, I'm just gonna buy these, and I could probably polish them up somehow, some way, and either sell them for $80, $90. I'm still gonna turn a profit. So I buy them, I get them, I polish them up, I do all these different research, YouTube videos, anything I could find on refinishing putters. And one of the main things I want to do was make them black, and I read about black oxide and all this different stuff. There's 2 different treatments. One's hot, one's cold. The hot is, you basically can't do it yourself. You gotta have there's basically tank treatments you gotta do. And it's a mess. It was very high startup costs, just put it that way. So I wound up getting this cool black oxide, and let's give it a shot, you know. And I messed around with it, did it, and came out pretty good, and wound up selling them. And I'm like, wow, I could maybe make some of this. So I started looking out for more putters. And at first I just started as kind of like flipping them, and it kind of just snowballed from there. I mean, with all the groups, and I mean, without Facebook, I probably wouldn't have I'm just doing local stuff maybe, but nowhere near this big, as big as I am now. Well, I shouldn't really say I'm big, but it wouldn't be as big as it is now if I didn't have Facebook. I mean, I'm doing putters for guys in California. I did a guy in Europe, and it's just crazy. But like I said, after I started selling them, they asked me where I got the work done, and I said, I do it, you know, and all of a sudden it's kind of snowballs, and I'm like, oh, well, who did it? Now I got to come up with a name, and S. Dot is a nickname that a buddy, one of my best friends, gave to me, 15 years ago. So I'm like, S. Dot putters, you know, I just kind of threw it out there, and it kind of started snowballing and stuck. But yeah, it's like it kind of just started out as a hobby almost, you know, and had really no intentions of making it into a business, and it kind of just worked out that way. Yeah, so I mean,
That's awesome.
That's really it. That's really it.
I love that. It's funny to see how people get into doing a lot of, you know, whatever it may be. And usually I feel like it's either, you know, the way I described earlier or the way you did it is a hobby, and it turns into, you know, oh, let me try it. And then all of a sudden you end up being, you know, pretty good at it. And people take notice pretty quick when you start posting on Facebook, like you said, and especially the golf community with putters. It seems to be a hot commodity in the golf scene right now, is some sort of customized putters or restoring putters, especially old Scotties. People seem to collect them more as art than, you know, than anything. I feel like, especially in the California, Arizona area, people are putting them on their walls more than they're actually gaming them.
Crazy. There's a couple that are members out of a course called Applebrook, right up in Philadelphia area up here. And I believe they are the biggest Scotty Cameron collectors. And I think the last I heard, they got it insured for over like $2.2 million, their collection. It's just insane to me. I would love to go in there and check it out, but it's like,
yeah, I mean,
I'd be in there for too long.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it gets to a point. It's like, is someone's personal collection as big as like Ping's golden putter room? Like when does it get too much? Like, I mean, I've always admired.
Not for nothing. I don't get it.
No,
hey,
I always said
more power to you, but I don't get it.
Yeah, I always said I don't understand putting on a wall. They're tools, not, you know, what does Isaiah say? They're tools, not I mean, they're art, but I forget the trade line.
We'll have to ask them.
Yeah, but basically, at the end of the day, they're tools. They're meant to be used. And I always think the minute I get a sick putter, I want to take it out in the course. I want to roll putts. I want to make a 30-footer with it to have a story behind it or something like that.
100%.
I want to put it in the bag. That's like 99% of the reason I buy a new putter is to put something in the bag that's A, gonna work, and B, looks nice and can sit down time and time again.
Yeah, it's nuts. But Yeah, I had one Scotty Cameron putter that was probably worth over like $3,000. I had it for a day and I sold it the following day. I'm like, there ain't no way
I
I
don't
can
blame
keep
you.
this. I mean, there ain't no way I can keep this. It's stupid. It's like burning a hole in my
There's
pocket. But
Isaiah's brought some stories before. Just he's kind of sniffed the tour scene a little bit with playing on some Corn Ferry events last year, and some of those guys that have been up in the PGA Tour and are kind of bouncing around between Corn Ferry and the PGA. They have there's stories that they have bags of Circle T putters that are worth
you'd be
3,
dumb.
4
You'd be
grand.
dumb not to.
That's what he said.
You'd
It's
be
like
dumb
it's
not to.
basically a job security. Like, okay, well, if I
Yeah.
don't, I'll just sell a couple this year and I'll get by, and then we can make it till next year.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. It's like if you're. I mean, from what I heard, he basically just gives them to you. I'm not sure how it works on tour, but I'm assuming that they're just given to these players.
As long
If
as you
you're-
have a tour
if you're
card,
on-
I think is the understanding. Like once you have
Yeah.
a tour card, it's pretty much free reign, from what I understand.
So I mean, this is one of those times I can just go on a tangent, but I'll try not to. So I've caddied for Scotty Cameron a couple of times, and from what I was told, even amateurs, top amateurs, get free Circle T putters. So if you look at Stuart Hagestad uses a broomstick, the
Sure.
Circle T broomstick.
The
Circle T broomstick.
Almost
Yeah,
makes sense though, because Stu's been around the AM scene so long. He's played in the Masters how many times? I mean,
It's free advertisement for Scotty.
Yeah, 100%.
It's free advertisement. So that definitely, I'm assuming they get there all the stuff for free. But to go back to that point, it's like if I'm that guy on the Corn Ferry Tour, and hey, nothing's guaranteed, So yeah, give me as many as you will, and I'm going to put them in my closet. And like you said, that's a retirement policy or some sort of job security. If you wind up breaking your wrist or getting hurt or you're just not good anymore, it'll at least float you through till you get a full-time job.
God forbid, God forbid none of them work and you stop making putts. Then
Yeah.
you whatever.
Shoot, you could probably use a couple for that expenses for either tournament fees or even hotel fees.
That's
right. Crazy
out there, girl.
Crazy.
It's a crazy world out there, and it's funny because like we talk like, oh, they're just throwing them out there like hotcakes, and it's like people then start to question, well, how special are the Circle Ts? And it's like you still got to remember these guys are the 1% of the 1% playing on tour out there, so it's like maybe 100 guys a year, a little more, a little less, depending if they're getting like European tours, Chinese tours. You have it wherever they're at. It's not a high percentage. There's still not like millions of Circle Ts.
They're not flooding the market. Yeah.
No. But it's always cool if you get to see like one pop up every now and then on Facebook, like you said, the trader page or anything like that, and they're going for like 1,800 at the lowest, usually 25 or more.
Crazy. Listen, I've putted with both. Feel the same. They feel the same.
I'll be honest.
So,
I've never held one in my hands, but the people that I do know, no, game-changing technology in those Circle Ts. It's just a beautiful stamp.
And still have to putt.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing. Dante hit the nail on the head, man.
Right there.
Still got to putt it.
Now you mentioned you caddied for Scotty Cameron a little bit, and
yes,
we've got insider information that you may or may not caddy at Pine Valley from now and then.
I can either confirm or deny. No, I'm just kidding. I did.
What's that experience like? Being on the number one golf course in the country, just day to day. How in the heck is that?
It's nothing short of amazing. So when the way I got the gig is just absolutely crazy. I was playing in a Gap event, and I happened to be paired with the Caddy Master, which I didn't know at the time was the Caddy Master of Pine Valley, and we had numerous rain delays, and every rain delay, me and the Caddy Master would sit at the bar or outside of the bar and just shoot the shit. And on the third rain delay, and he was asking about my job, and for those of you, my big boy job is I own Thomas's English Muffin and Arnold Bread Routes, and I have people that work for me. So I either cover vacations, and at that time I was actually I had a business called Assured Route Relieving Services, where all the people that own the routes aren't really like me, where they own multiple routes. They usually just own one, run it themselves, and that's it. Problem with that is you own one and you run it yourself. You want to go on vacation, you have nobody to deliver your bread for you. So what I was doing was I was providing a service for those people that needed a vacation covered or something like that. So I'm telling him how my job is, and he's like, "Oh, we could use a guy like you." I was like, "Oh, doing what?" He's like, "Oh, Pine Valley." I'm like, "Doing what?" He's like, "Caddying." I'm like, "Oh, all right." In my head, I'm like, I've never played there. I've been trying to play there. My wife has reached out for my 30th birthday, 35th birthday, whatever it was, to all our friends, trying to get me out there somehow, some way, and just couldn't make it happen. My uncle, who lives in Dallas, Texas, had a friend in Florida that knew a guy in New York that was going to try to get me on a golf course that was 20 minutes from my house. I mean, this was just stupid.
The lengths the common man will go to get on the top 10 courses in the country is unbelievable, and it's what I love about the game of golf.
So I'm playing it cool. Like, it's like talking to a hot chick. You know, you got to play cool. Can't scare her away, you know? So I'm like, well, I got to go home and talk to my wife and make sure it's okay with her. And then I'll let you know. It's like, yeah. I go home. Hey, hon, guess what I got? She's like, what? I was like, a new job, caddying in Pine Valley. She's like, oh, okay. So I started. So I called him right away. Started in July of that year. So it was like a month before I actually started. But I actually knew a couple guys that caddied over there. One of the guys was also a member at Running Deer, who's since left. Steve Bell. I don't know if you ever ran into him, Dante.
I know the name. Never ran into him.
Yeah. So he kind of was kind of like my mentor. But I also think he had a hand in when the Caddy Master, he knew I knew him. So I think he actually reached out to him before and said, hey, you going to vouch for this guy? You know, is he all right? And I think Steve actually said, yeah, I was okay, thankfully. But so I originally wanted to just do it for like a couple months. You know, let me get to play the course. And it turned into this my third season. Like the money's good. The money's great. I'm not gonna lie, the money's good, but the people you meet, the connections you make are just incredible. They're just absolutely incredible. Especially the people you meet. It's like nothing like it. And walking the greatest golf course in the world every day is.
And just going to be my favorite. Yeah.
Just the sole fact that it blows my mind too is, you know, when the top 100 courses come out every year, and Pine Valley is in between 1, 2, and 3, and it's usually, you know, bouncing back and forth.
Yeah, between Augusta and Pine Valley.
Yeah. To realize that it's only 20 minutes north of us still blows my mind every time I think about it.
That's the best part about Pine Valley, I think, blows people's minds, especially that don't know golf. You know, they're like, obviously, like, I feel like the people outside of the golf community obviously know Augusta National. They know the Masters. They know Pebble Beach, usually. But then when you tell them the number one course in the country each and every year, usually, give or take, like you said, it bounces around, is in New Jersey. I mean, it blows people.
Clementon, New Jersey?
Yeah. It's the best, like, little hidden gem. But, I mean, yeah, that's so cool. Now, you know, my other question, and it doesn't really sound like you have, but maybe you surprised me. Have you caddied anywhere else or caddied before that gave you
I have not,
experience? No. So Pine Valley was the first caddy gig for you.
Yeah, and that was kind of a tough – I don't know. I kind of felt inferior when I went there almost, like with the other caddies. Like, oh, where'd you come from? Oh, nowhere. You know, like most of them came from.
I live right up the road.
Like
that's where I came from.
Yeah, like Marion or somewhere, and it's like I almost wanted to lie to them, be like, oh yeah, I used to caddy at this place in Ohio. It was something stupid, but I'm like, whatever, you know, they'll get over it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of felt a little weird at first.
It almost seems like that it would be like hallowed grounds that you would be like not only the course, but like the caddy barn would be like a hallowed ground. Like those guys probably, like you said, they come from other historically like really renowned places.
Yeah, and I think I don't think anybody actually cared. It might have just been my own little insecurities with that, but yeah, I mean it's definitely cool. It's definitely cool. The caddies that you caddy with are really cool, and I mean, I do have another story I could tell too about Pine Valley. So I will, because it's a really good one. It's a really good one, and I'm patting myself on the back too, of course. But so I was on. it must have been 3 weeks to a month I started, okay? And it's a hot summer day. It's in the middle of August. Heat index probably 105, 110. So a couple days prior, I don't want to use his name. So one of the other caddies, he actually passed out about a week prior from heat exhaustion. So he was back, and we all have set tee times. It's not like a place where you go and you wait. You have a set tee time. You be there an hour before your tee time, and then you go. So we're sitting there, and I get called up with this caddy that passed out. I'm talking to another guy. I'm like, God, please hope he doesn't pass out on me. Like, I really don't feel like dealing with that. So we go up. Everything's fine. Get our guys, and the guys I have are Dante. Have you ever heard of the Heil?
Yes.
In Wildwood. Okay.
Yes.
Heil. The Heil is basically this big 4-ball tournament they have down the shore. So the guys that are playing in the foursome are all guys that play in the Heil that I know, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. We're gonna have a great day. These guys are awesome. So we get on one. Everything's going smooth. Everything's good. So between 11 and 12 is 11 green, 12 tee box is a really steep incline. It's about, I want to say maybe 200 feet from the green to the tee, and it's probably, I don't know, 30-degree incline. So it's a steep walk. Okay. So we're walking from the tee from the green to the tee, and the caddy that I'm caddying with, I'm passing him, and I look back and I say, "Hey, you okay? You drinking water?" And he looks at me and kind of mumbles, and it's like, okay. So I take another 3 steps. I look back. I'm like, "You all right?" And all of a sudden he drops to his knees, and I run back. I'm like, "You okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." He goes to get up, and then boom, straight down. Starts having a seizure on the ground, and I'm like, "Oh my God!" And I yell up to those guys. I'm like, "Guys, someone's got to call 911. Someone please call 911." And then they start running back, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, "It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay." And he's kind of basically having a seizure on the ground, and I'm like, "It'll be all right." And I've never, I don't know. He stopped. Well, he stops breathing, right? So now I take a pulse. I don't see a pulse. Basically, he dies. So I start doing CPR. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15 compressions, stop. 15 compressions, stop. 15 compressions, stop. I'm gonna try to shorten the story. So he comes back. Bring him back. Then he goes back down again. So I keep doing compressions. So I off and on compressions for about 10 minutes. And in the meantime, the GM comes out, has a defibrillator. We shock him 3 times, keep doing compressions. Ambulance comes, takes him away. I'm like shaken beyond belief. The guys that we're playing with, they don't even want to play golf anymore. The tee is now lined up with about 30 players because you got to realize the course is packed. The course is packed. Guess who so I get done, the EMTs get there, I back up, and I look to my left, Ryan Palmer. Ryan Palmer standing right next to me. I'm like, oh, no shit, it's Ryan Palmer. Yo, see what I just did? See the light? What's up?
I remember hearing
Need a guy on tour?
I remember hearing bits of that story at the bar after like a couple of rounds at the Deer. I was like, and as you were saying that, I was putting the pieces together. Wow, I didn't hear the full story. That's amazing.
Crazy. So come to find out, so now it's like, what do? I have 4 bags. There's only one of me. I can't carry 4. But one of the guys was an older gentleman, and a lot of times they let the older guys take carts. So he had a cart, but if they have a cart, you still have to carry their bag. They're allowed to drive in the cart, but you have to carry their bag. So I'm like, I tell the GM, I said, hey, I'll just strap 2 bags on the cart. I'll carry 2. And whenever you get me somebody, just bring them out. He's like, no, I got another guy coming out right now. Just wait for a second. I'm like, okay, no problem. So the other guy comes out. And it's this guy, Justin, who's like all like happy-go-lucky, like, hey, today's awesome. Let's have a party. And he gets there, and he's in that attitude. And it's like, nah.
Wrong time.
Like
wrong time.
Nobody's in a party attitude. So we get to 17, and the GM's coming down in the cart. And the guy, one of the guys that's playing, he's like, oh, boy, this can't be good news. I was like, no, it has to be good news. Because if it was bad news, he wouldn't come and tell us while we were playing.
He wouldn't ruin the round on you. Yeah.
Exactly. So he comes up, thanks us for all that, thanks me for doing what I did. And he's like, he woke up in the ambulance. He's fine. Tried to fight out of the ambulance. He's fine. Everything's good. Come to find out, he wasn't that good. He actually wound up having a massive heart attack, had to have triple bypass, and is now back caddying again. So it does have a good ending to the story, which was but that's actually my lifetime crazy story.
That's absolutely insane.
I was gonna say, I was gonna ask you some good stories you had, but that's that's as good as it's gonna get.
Not for nothing. It's a bad story with a very good ending.
No doubt about it. I'm super happy to hear he's back caddying at the greatest place on earth. Yeah, that's just all be all.
If you're gonna go out, I mean, why not?
There's a lot of places people say, and Pine Valley or Pebble Beach is on that list. So he was at one of them. Couldn't have got much better.
I can imagine all the ashes that are spread at Pine Valley. That has to be a ton.
Oh man.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Hope you guys are enjoying this interview from Steve Barry from S. Putters. He mentions some life-saving heroics he pulled out at Pine Valley. And when people have some life-changing memories, they usually like to get some apparel done or a vinyl decal to put on their car to remember that event. So look no further than Saltwater Swag MD when looking for your vinyl needs. That's saltwater_swag_MD on Instagram or Saltwater Swag MD on Facebook. Guys, we get all of our merchandise done through Saltwater Swag. They help us out in any custom vinyl needs that we need to do, whether it's shirts, hats, sweatshirts. If you need it done, the vinyl shop to go is Saltwater Swag MD. Also, I'd like to shout out to our partners at Slope Grade. They are now fulfilling orders. So anyone who has put in an order to date, they are fulfilling orders. They have inventory in stock. So go check them out. They are the #1 green reading system, the wearable green reading system in the golf industry today. If you go to their website, coupon code at checkout, enjoy the walk, gets you 15% off. So guys, thank you to our sponsors. Please, please, please go check them out. We couldn't do this without them. Now back to the show. So now you mentioned a little bit of like the Better Ball tournament that's down on the shore, but there's a pretty famous cup, I guess you could say, the Crump Cup that goes on. Have you caddied in that or been around that? What's the atmosphere like in that tournament?
You think of the most competitive golf you could have, and it's there. I mean, it's times 10 and it's there. It's unreal how competitive it is. But with that being said, it's still, for lack of better words, fun. The guys have a really good time. There's a lot of camaraderie, but they're still competing. It's golf at basically its purest. There's no changes to the rules. There's no anything. It's just like 100% pure golf, and it's a blast. It's a lot of fun, and they have it. Actually, Sundays are open to the public. So, I mean, if you've never gone and you're in the area, I would definitely go check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Speaking of that, my friend's gone a couple times, and he was explaining that it's not really roped off. It's just pretty much open, right? You're just like walking with the players, like actually on the course. Is that true? Or
yeah, they don't rope it off at all. Yeah. No, there's only. I mean, I think they'll let maybe 750 to 1,000 people out, but yeah, it's not normally roped off, but I mean, they have members and everybody directing. They have security there. So it's not like you're not going on the greens. You're not,
Yeah.
I mean, even you know how special of a place it is. So just going in there, you're going to be like, you don't want to step on a blade of grass, but no, I've never heard of any issues or anything like that. So.
Now, I feel like you said, the 750 to 1,000, it's probably the most diehard loyal golf fans and biggest fans of the game. So they just respect. Yeah. It's not like your Waste Management where they're just general tickets and they're going there to get hammered.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no booze being sold there or anything like that. So you're not even going to have an issue with that. It's pretty chill. It's just the people there to watch good golf, good amateur golf, and that's what they get because you got the best players in the world that are playing in that.
Yeah, I mean, I just looked it up here quick. It's Patrick Duffy won it last year, and he's from Nebraska, but he's played in the U.S. Mid-Am and been the runner-up multiple times there. So, I mean, a lot of talent going into that.
A lot of talent. Duff's a stick, man. Duff's a stick. I mean, if you can see the stroke play, you can see the stroke play. I mean, there's some guys that qualified for the third flight that are U.S. Mid-Am winners. Most of them are all U.S. Mid-Am winners that are in the third flight. Third flight. Like some guys, Mid-Am winners that didn't even qualify that are going, that played 2 days and going home. You know, I mean, they could stay around, but I wouldn't.
Oh, that's hilarious. I mean, that's
hey, how'd you play today?
Cool. Because there's so many, you know, the USGA has, you know, the coveted USAM and the US Mid-Am. And then, you know, other than that, there's not a whole lot of like coveted US or like just United States amateur tournaments. So like with the Crump Cup being there, it's really cool to see.
Yeah, there's a Crump Cup, there's a Jones Cup down in Georgia, the Western, which is obviously another real prestigious one. But there's really not. And I mean, there's probably more than we know, but that these guys, these top tier players playing, but they're not covered. You don't hear about it.
Yeah, I think the only other one that like comes to mind is like the Sunahana out in Western Pennsylvania. Lately, that's kind of just been like a college golf showcase.
That's the problem. That's the problem. I mean, these college kids, they have all the tournaments they want. You know, you want enough for the mid-am. You want some for the mid-ams. You know, these guys are good players too, and not only are they good players. I don't want to say all of them, but most of them have full-time gigs, families. You know, and they're still playing at a high caliber. You know, like some of these guys are still qualifying for USAMs with these kids, and that's crazy. Last year was my last year trying at that one.
Yeah, no,
it's just too much.
Shout out to Ben Peters, the golf hawk who we had on a couple weeks ago. He's in that Mid-Am life and has qualified the last I think year or two, and he just had a baby daughter, and he's still chasing that dream. So it's cool to see guys like that, like you said, that he has a full-time job. He does caddy, but he's got a full-time job caddying and a family now, and it's most of the guys that do that in the Mid-Am. So it's a really awesome kind of spectacle of golf that like you don't get in the USAM as much.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like the USAM, you probably get maybe 2% of the guys are over 25, maybe. It's usually all just college kids, guys that are probably going to be on tour in the next 10 years.
I was going to say, I think 2%'s a generous number lately.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, done are the days of Billy Mayfair coming up against Tiger Woods, you know, 35.
Buddy Marucci.
Yes.
Buddy Marucci.
That was quite possibly one of the best duels I think Tiger had during his kind of reign of dominance was Buddy Marucci.
100%.
Now I got to ask you. So you've been to Pine Valley, obviously, and have gotten to play. You recently took a trip out to Bandon Dunes. Is that the golf mecca right now? Like, is that kind of 100%. The end all be all trips to take right now in golf?
You haven't played golf unless you've gone out there and played. Like
now,
go ahead.
Now you were saying when you were out there, did you step on that new one that they just built?
I did.
Sheep Ranch.
Sheep Ranch. Yes, they had 9 holes open for us to play. That's going to be their gem. I mean, that thing is it's 2 miles all on cliffs on the ocean, and it's just unreal. But I'm telling you, you have not played golf until you've gone out there and played.
How long were you out there?
So I was out there for 5 days total travel time. So I played golf for the 5 days. But the only course we didn't play was Bandon Dunes. We played Pacific Dunes. We played Old McDonald. We played Sheep Ranch. We played their short course. We played – what am I missing? McDonald. I don't know. I think we played. I don't know.
Is Bandon Dunes the one you didn't play? The track
Bandon Dunes is
all the way in, like it's the inner course.
No, that is.
Is that a scorecard collection?
The proof.
No joke.
Yeah.
Bandon Trails. So Bandon Trails is the one that's inside. Yes. We played that the first day along with the short course. Second day we played Bandon Trails again because Bandon Dunes was getting top dressed or something. They were doing something with the greens, so we couldn't play Bandon Dunes. But played everything else. You will learn quickly to hit a 4-iron, 5-iron about 100 yards. You will learn that flop shots don't exist, only bump and runs do. You will learn that wind can make a putt move about 2 or 3 cups. It's unreal.
Wait a minute, 2 or 3
fun.
cups.
Cups, yes. True story, dude.
I'm assuming that happened to you.
Man.
Yes. So, I mean, the last day we were putting through puddles, it was just, I mean, it was awesome. You got to go. It's hard to describe, man. You got to go. It's like Disney World for a golfer.
That's
it's
what
unreal.
I've heard is just like the statement you made that it's hard to describe. You just have to go, because like no matter how many people have been out there and they go time and time again, it's like there's nowhere else like it. Like there's no like, oh well, if you've been to here, it's like here. It's like no, it's Bandon. Like,
so when
Bandon.
I went for the cat, it's called they call it the God, what do they call it? Why am I having a brain fart? Anyway, it's basically a challenge between Pine Valley caddies, Bandon caddies, Pebble Beach caddies, and Cypress caddies. So you have basically the top 2 private clubs, top 2 public clubs that go, and you're gonna basically just play. It's like a Ryder Cup format. Everybody has said that Cypress is one of the best courses that you'll ever play, and I've heard the same thing. It's amazing, and there's a lot of members that from Cypress to come to Pine Valley. A lot of Pine Valley guys go to Cypress, and they you get both sides of it. Pine Valley's one, no. Cypress is one, no. Either way, they're both great golf courses.
Sure.
But every caddy has said that Bandon Dunes is by far the best golf course, the most challenging golf course you'll ever go to. It's just unreal. It's just unreal. Go.
And I love that. Yeah, I love the fact that there's just so many courses right there on property, and obviously because it's the only thing that's there. Like,
well,
am I wrong in saying that?
Because you aren't wrong, but there is more to do. So when we flew from Newark to Portland, and it was $250 round trip. So there's another little caveat for you. Fly to Newark, go to Portland, it's $250. But then you have to drive from Portland to Bandon, which is about 4 hours. But driving down, when you get outside of Bandon, they have all these dunes. And dunes, what do they have on dunes? Dune buggies. You can rent dune buggies and ride them up and down these dunes.
What?
And then also they have the like a snowboard with the thing, and you go behind the dune buggies and you go down. Dude, so next time I want to go out 2 days early, go to these spots. Well, I want to check out Portland. Portland, I feel, would be kind of a cool city. But I want to check out Portland, then go and do these dune buggies and all that, and then obviously spend the rest of my time playing a lot of golf. But
yeah.
Now my only advice is, like I said, it's just to go. I mean, go, and definitely build in a couple days for the dune buggies because they look like a lot of fun.
We need to get a huge crew together.
I was gonna say, and
I've also
heard a little kind of hack to get into Bandon. There's a campsite on like the far end where I guess the new property is now, so it's beyond Sheep Ranch, that you can actually stay at, and you can like rent an RV, stay at this campsite for like a quarter of the price of like actually staying at Bandon. So if you don't mind, staying in an RV or whatever, you can kind of cut the price down a little bit more there too. And if you get a couple buddies involved, that would even split it a little more.
That's the first I heard of that, but I actually swapped some numbers with some Bandon Dunes caddies. So I mean, it's if that's something that everybody, I don't mind staying in an RV because I know from 8 a.m. to dark, even past dark, I'm gonna be at the lodge. I'm gonna be playing golf.
That's exactly my thought process.
You just need to
sun up to sundown. There's a golf course my feet are gonna be on.
yeah. Just gonna use that place to sleep. No big deal.
For sure.
But,
that's awesome.
The place was awesome.
Now I have to ask, because you brought it up, who won that little Ryder Cup match between all the caddies this past year?
Bandon Dunes. Bandon Dunes.
Well, home court advantage. Come on.
It's not even that, man. They just have. So listen. So we have like a welcome dinner the night of, and between the Pebble Beach and the Bandon caddies, so there's six caddies from each spot. 5 of the 6 for Bandon were either pros at one point or two of them were trying to do Q school next year. One of them, I think, had like some sort of status on the Corn Ferry. And then the Pebble guys, half of them had either pro status or were also going to be trying for Q school next year. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to have fun enjoying myself.
It'd be a great trip to just have fun. Yeah.
Yeah, just going to have fun, guys. But we held our own. We definitely held our own. But I mean, we had maybe three guys plus or better, and the other guys were maybe 5, 6, 7 handicaps. You know, it's like we didn't really have a snowball's chance in hell. These guys are all carrying +3s, +4s. Perfect example. Bandon had a qualifier to play in this, and their highest qualifying score was 66-68, 2 rounds.
That was the high.
68 was the highest qualifying score. Highest qualifying score.
Yeah, thanks for coming, guys. See you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Pebble, hey, I'll tell you what, though. Pebble hung with them. Pebble definitely hung with them.
That's awesome. No, the one time I was out at Pebble Beach, my dad and I went out there, and the caddy we had was like straight out of Scotland, had the best Scottish accent you've ever heard. And he was a stick. I think he had played a little bit over in like the European tour before he came over.
Yeah.
Worked at Pebble a couple months, worked back in Scotland a couple months, and he was just, you know, I got a little insight then. He was like, yeah, a lot of us caddies play, but that's kind of all he would say. But it's unreal to see that many guys kind of caddying it and then going out and playing that well as well.
I think it's a lot of the majority of the guys of what they do, especially out on the West Coast, is they're trying to make it. And that's basically their gig to pay for trying to make it, you know? So I think there's more of that than we think. A lot more than that than we think. But hey, more power to them. We give them all the credit in the world. I'll never knock anybody for trying to make it on tour or anything like that.
I love the grind, and that's, you know, why Isaiah is moving up to Virginia, just to get a little cash money to continue chasing the dream. And I think anyone that you know, and there's so many guys that are just right on that cusp. It's such a fine line between, you know, the guys out there on tour and the guys that are maybe on the Corn Ferry or Canada. Or, I mean, you're watching guys in these qualifiers, especially Mondays, go out and shoot 6 under and miss, you know, and not get in. There's so many good players out there. It's fun to see. I mean, all it takes is a hot streak. It's crazy to say, because it's like, oh yeah, it's a little cliche, but it's like you get on like a 4-month hot streak and get into some Mondays and make some noise.
Yeah, make some noise, get a top 10.
Yeah.
Get some exempt stat. You're good. You're good. Let's speak.
Yeah.
Listen, that's what Spieth did. That's what Jordan Spieth did. He never went to Q school, none of that stuff.
Nope.
You know, he got an exemption, got it in there, made the best of it, and now he's on tour full time.
Yeah, I mean, you're watching guys do that right now. You're watching Matt Wolff do that. Morikawa. You're watching Victor Hovland just won. Now he's got 2-year stat.
That kid is going to be number 1 in about a year and a half.
I 100% agree with you.
Going to be special.
Marking it now.
He's going to be special.
He's got that.
He's got that
Ernie Els mentality of just nothing really rattles him. He's also just got his like demeanor. He's just got that demeanor of just.
He seems like his head's on good.
Yeah, and that's
from the outside looking in, obviously.
Is just like I don't know what, you know, he does off the golf course, but it seems like he's just one of those kind of laid back, love golf, get into golf more gurus that just lives in golf. So yeah, I think he's on a straight and narrow path to have a very successful career.
Let's get him on the podcast.
Yeah, right. Where you at, Victor?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, we'll take
Victor.
He gives some Class A interviews already. Let me just say.
I know, for being so young. It's almost Spieth-like. That's how Spieth was when he came aboard.
He's so candid. He's so real. He's just like he doesn't care what the heck happens. He's just so lucky and grateful to be playing the game. Yeah, I love that kid. I hope nothing but the best for him moving forward.
Yeah, me too. I really like him. I'm a fan.
No
Definitely
doubt.
a fan.
Absolutely. Now you took that caddies trip out to Bandon. Have you taken any other buddies trips of any like other world class venues that you would like to like be of notion to get in the top 2 there, top 3?
You know, I haven't. I mean, I've definitely played some good golf courses, specifically local, but no, I mean, me and Andy, Dante knows Andy, he's another player out of Running Deer, but we've always talked about going up to New York and doing that swing of private clubs up there. And maybe out to Wisconsin to do that whole trek. But definitely Pebble. Got to get out to Pebble. I mean, that's something you have to do. But no, I haven't. I haven't really gone out to do any buddy stuff or anything like that. You know, just Disney World with the kids. I play them golf courses and that's it. But no.
Man,
Nope.
we're
I mean,
kind of in the
it's
same.
probably-
We're kind of in the same boat, and we're itching to start checking things off the list. So as we get a group together, we'll have to keep you in the realm of possibility of making that trip
Oh yeah, man.
somewhere,
Oh,
some destination soon. It's got to happen.
Yeah. Well, the owner of Bandon has 3 other places. One's in, I think, called Cabot something in Nova Scotia.
Oh, Cabot
And those-
Links.
Cabot Links, and then
Yeah.
Sand Hills out in Wisconsin. So they're 2 spots I definitely want to. If they're anything like Bandon, then it's going to be awesome. So I want to go check those out. And then obviously Top 100 2018. I'm going to try to do. I'm going to make a hard push this year to get some of that done. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
I love
See what
that.
happens.
Got to have some goals, right? Got to
We
have.
got to
some check marks to
refinish.
make.
You got to refinish more putters though.
Yeah.
Got to refinish more.
Speaking of that,
Need
I mean,
something to pay for.
other than Isaiah's gem of a ping answer, what has been like your number one favorite, most memorable putter that you've refinished?
You know, this one got made fun of too, but I really liked it. It was was it X7? Scotty Cameron, I believe it was an X7, but it was the one that kind of looks like a spaceship. And I'm a big fan of like a neonish blue, and I made the interior body of it like a neon blue. Then the outside wing, you know what I'm talking about, the Scotty with the 2 little wings with the weights on the back.
Oh yeah,
The
Yep.
Futura X7 or something like that. And I made the rest of it black, and it was it's on my page. It should be on my page somewhere. Maybe on my Facebook page, but it was like a very neon blue and black. And it was my favorite putter in the world. And people just trashed it, man. Like, oh, that thing's ugly, hideous. I'm like, no, man, it's my favorite putter in the world, dude.
What are you talking
Loved
about? It looks
No, it's
beautiful.
my great thing. But honestly, what I really like is I like doing the detours. I don't know if you've seen them yet, but yeah, I'll show you guys. But they'll
Okay. Ooh.
like.
okay.
Have you ever seen these ones? How they are before they do the conversion? There's
I
like a
don't
little
think I have.
a dong that comes out the back. I'll show you really fast. So there's an insert, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the insert actually comes. This is really bad for a podcast because I'm actually visually showing you, but they can see
I mean,
on
so for everyone
You guys
who
can-
does watch us or listen to us, we do have a YouTube page as well. So if you want to hop
There
on
we
over to
go.
the YouTube page at this segment, he's going to do a little show and tell.
Oh man, I should have picked my nose then. Damn it. So this insert actually comes in like that, and then what you'll see from the top is basically that behind it. So what I do is I heat it up, remove this, and replace it with copper. So that's copper, puts the weight back in it, and then I stamp a little crown on the back.
So it basically
then
takes like
Screw it
a
right back
little
in.
bit of like semi mallet that it is, and then turns it into a true blade.
It turns it into a true Newport 2
Yeah.
without any alignment aids. Because that's the one thing
Ooh,
you
that's
can't
clean.
find unless you're willing to pay for a Circle T. Is you can't find a Newport 2 head with no alignment aids.
Yeah.
It'll always have a line on the back.
Huh.
Always.
Fun fact of the day,
So,
ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I know
Yep.
Isaiah was talking about, he sent it to us, is that Eagles one that you finished.
Which one? I have 2.
Oh,
So
man,
I'm
it was-
looking at a nice little blade with the Super Bowl logo right in the center.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Tom Anderson. Shout out to Tom Anderson.
Woo.
that,
That's
yeah.
fresh. That is fresh.
That's a showpiece for a buddy of mine, Tom Anderson, who lives local. But he brought it to me. He wants to do a Phillies one. He wants to do a Flyers one as well. And so he's trying to find them, and eventually they'll happen. But
Well,
yeah,
hey,
looking forward
he
to
might
both of
have
those,
his
'cause-
year. He might have his year this year with the Flyers. They're looking pretty hot as we
Yo,
speak. So
that's my sport. That's my sport. Mr. Hayes looking really good.
I will be in
Kaneki
Washington
looking
D.C.
good.
Wednesday to watch them play. So I'm pretty pumped about that. And
yeah, they're
yeah.
looking really good this year. We'll see how it turns out.
yeah,
But,
cross my
yeah.
fingers because I feel like every year we've said that they've gotten close to playoff season and then tanked. So
Yeah, but they
Cross
never
my
had
fingers.
the goalie. They
No.
never had the goalie. They
You're
got
right.
the goalie now. So we'll see what happens.
I'm very
Yeah.
pumped to see how that goes down. And yeah, so no, that's you've done some gems, and I just want to tell people where they can find you again at s_dot_putters putters. That's at s.putters on Instagram. You said you had a Facebook page as well. Where can they find you on
I
Facebook?
do. You can just search the s.putters. It'll pop right up.
Awesome. And do you have any kind of website? I'm seeing maybe a link here on your Instagram to a website.
Yeah, it's one of those freebie ones. If you go to my Instagram or my Facebook, the link is on there. You just click on the link; it'll take you to there.
Perfect.
Now that'll give you more of my pricing options and different options that I offer, which is basically anything. You name it, I can basically do it.
I love that. A complete like open book of just if people have an idea, you can
and it's
find
hard
a way to
because,
get it done.
Especially with pricing. If you want to put pricing out on a website, you're better off just messaging me. I'm very responsive to any of the messages, and I'll give you. You send me a picture, I'll give you a hard quote on exactly what it's going to be. The website's just basically there as a reference because you just don't know. People ask for all different types of things. Yeah, I want it black. Okay, well, do you want the face remilled? Do you want a dot put on the top? Do you want a line put on the top? Do you want you want all the etchings on the bottom welded off? Like people have all different types of ideas and anything they want to do, which is another reason why I love doing it because it's
the best thing. I think whether it's a putter collector or people that just love the game is seeing how many different styles of putters there are out there and just the way they're finished or the way they're restamped or there's an unending possibility. Is what it boils down to. And it's crazy because it's a little 4 or 5 inch piece of metal. There's so many options.
Yeah.
And I can vouch for that too. Going to your garage shop at your place. I mean, we've known each other pretty well for about maybe 2-3 years. And the first time I stepped foot to get my, drop off my putter and pick up the
new one. Did we just become best friends?
We did. Yes. And then, but what was sick about it was from then, you had a couple things, you had a couple shafts lying around, a couple little like stuff you were messing with. Now I'm walking in there. He goes, "Yo, check this out." And he's like rolling out like 15 putter heads that are sitting waiting to get something done to it. And he's got all new tools that are set up. I mean, it's grown pretty significantly from the first time that I stepped foot.
Dante has definitely seen it evolve, which is kind of cool too.
It's pretty wild to see, to see from your craftsmanship from what it was to what it is now. It's pretty remarkable.
So, it's funny because I was actually going to bring that up earlier, then I guess went on a tangent like I normally do. But it's funny because I was mentioning how when I first started, I was doing YouTube videos and trying to find different ways to refinish putters. And where I actually, little trade secret here, is where I found most success was actually just Googling metal finishing. And there was this kid, this 19-year-old kid somewhere in London who was a forger. He did YouTube videos on forging metal and all different types of metal. He would make like knives. He would do all different types of forgings, anything he would think of, just because he was bored. And I learned more from that kid, from that 19-year-old kid, than I did on hours and hours of threads and YouTube videos and looking at other people's sites and everything like that. That kid knew what he was doing. And like, just if you learn how metal reacts and how a stainless steel is going to react to heat, how carbon steel is going to react to heat, how it reacts to milling, it's all different types of things that you can find out, and stuff that I learned now that I didn't know two years ago, and it's you're always learning, and I love it. It's fun. Good time.
Yeah, that was one thing we got to spend some time with Logan Olson from Olson Putters. I'm not sure if you're familiar with.
How about his stuff?
We got to hang out with him a little bit when we were down in Orlando and kind of, put hands on his putters and just see the fine craftsmanship that he does out of his putters. And man, I'm telling you, when the way you were talking there of just, understanding the finishes of putters, and you want to talk about a kid that has knowledge of just, what different chemicals do to metals to get the right finish that he wants. That kid, which, shout out to him. He does some amazing work. And it was cool to hear that backstory on how metal, like his knowledge was just unbelievable when it came to putters and how to make things look the way he wants.
Exactly. And it's funny that you mentioned him because one, I'm one of his biggest fans. His stuff that he spits out some stuff that's so good. And is actually his last one. Did you see the one with the blue L logo in it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Thing's so pretty.
Oh yeah.
But I actually messaged him when I just started. See, when I used to have to mill faces, like if people send me putters with things in the faces, I used to have to actually ship that out to get it remilled. And I finally decided to bite the bullet and get my own mill. And he was, I reached out to him. I messaged him. I said, hey, listen, you don't refinish putters, you make them. So you're probably the best one to ask this. And I asked him some opinions on and questions I had on remilling the faces of putters. And he wrote me back this novel. Like the guy just loves, and it was so good. Like it was so informative. The guy, you could just tell just from him just typing this whole thing out. And how busy is this guy? You know, like his brand is completely taken off. And here he is typing out a whole explanation on milling to this Joe Schmo Steve Barry in Mullica Hill, New Jersey, you know, and he did it and it helped me out. It was awesome. So great guy. Great guy. I haven't met him, but seems like a really great guy.
Oh, for sure.
And obviously loves his craft.
Well, when we were down in Orlando, we were up at 3 a.m. We got down there. We were on our feet all day, and we had this game plan. We were going to go to the show, do what we had to do, grab a bite to eat, hit the range because we were playing golf the next day, and then hit the bed early. Turns out the only range that we found that was relatively close was Topgolf.
Oh, boy.
So we go to Topgolf, and then we go to Topgolf, and then a fan of ours meet up. And then next thing he knows Logan and Olsen Putters. He shows up, and I put 2 and 2 together. I'm telling you, we were eventually in his room just shooting the shit, talking putters, and just hearing his knowledge till about like 2 a.m. And I'm like, oh my! I was like, dude, we gotta go. We still have a whole nother day
Why
to go.
don't you FaceTime me, Dante?
It was just it was heat of the moment.
Yeah, it was like basically like going back to like Scotty Cameron's living room, like when Scotty Cameron was like just starting to make putters, and Scotty was like, "Hey, by the way, have you seen this stuff no one else has seen yet? Because I'm going to show it to you. If you want, you don't have to, but if you want." And we were like, "Yeah, well, hell yeah, we're definitely gonna do that."
Do you really need me to answer that? Was that rhetorical?
Yeah, like, tell me which car to get into. It doesn't have to. Is there candy in there too? Because okay. But
hey kid, you want a bike?
Yeah, it was awesome. He definitely just has such a passion for it and just seriously loves it. He loves trying to figure out new ways to, make things happen that have never been done before on the putter side of things. And just end all be all putting out a high quality product that is just so custom, one of a kind that no one else has it. And I think that's, kind of what you're getting into as well.
And from what I've seen, he's not overly expensive either.
In the custom putter market? No.
Yeah. You get a lot of these boutique putters and they're just astronomical. And he's okay. He's pretty relatively fair priced. And not only that, it's what you're getting is just insanely good. Insanely good.
It's unreal. And
someone should tag him because this just turned out to be a promotion for Logan.
Logan, we appreciate you at Olsen MFG on Instagram. You're welcome, buddy.
If you need any testers.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, no doubt. And that was what's cool. And I think what it boils down to, and why we loved having you on, is because like it boils down to people just having a love for the game and a love for what they do that goes into this game we call golf. And whether it's the
100%, man.
Clubs, there's boutique iron makers out there. There's guys trying to break into the driver market. But I think that the putter market alone is just so booming right now, and it's really cool to see the artistic creativity that goes into it. And I think that's why we love your page so much and following along of just what's going to come next from SDOT, because it's going to be something really cool, and it's going to be something that's going to be really easily, easy on the eyes per se.
Well, keep your eyes open because I'm starting to branch out into like head covers and embroidery and.
I'm so glad you brought that up. We saw the embroidery machine. You said grandma's machine is up and running.
My mom's machine.
What have you been pumping out here in the last couple of weeks on the old embroidery machine?
I did a few scorecard holders. I should probably post them. That's your last name on it, has built-in compasses. Everybody gets confused. Compasses are not illegal. The directional compasses are not illegal.
It's
The
the
drawing
physical
compasses
compass.
are.
Yes.
The directional compasses are not illegal. So here's one with a built-in compass, so you can get directional. Now, funny story. I'll go back to the Crump Cup. Guy I have this with me, and he's like, "Yeah, where do you think the wind's coming from?" I was like, "Well, it's coming out of the northeast today at about 15 miles an hour, so it's coming from that direction." And I point to northeast. It's coming out of the northeast. And by the third hole, he was like, "Trust the compass." He just kept saying, "Trust the compass," and it was right every time, because when you're on the ground, you feel wind, obviously, but you don't feel really the true direction it's coming.
Not at the, especially when the apex is hitting it the most. Yeah.
90 feet in the air. So the wind is always going to blow basically in one direction. If it's swirled, it's swirling because it's hitting trees and buildings and whatever. So if you know it's coming out of the northeast, and that's for you, that's in your face and right to left, but you feel it coming out left to right, but I know as a caddy that it's definitely coming that way, we got an advantage. You know what I mean? So I'm surprised a lot of people, a lot of people probably use it. They just not broadcast they use it because it helps. It definitely helps, especially if you know, like before tournaments, I will write down if I tee off at 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and then what the wind is going to do those hours and what direction is going to blow out. That way I know when I'm out there, I can look, see what direction it's coming from. If I'm confused by it, normally you can feel it. It's not going to trick you all the time. But yeah, if you're tricked out by it, it works. So if anybody wants a custom scorecard holder with a compass and your name embroidered on it, let me know. You know where to find me. He's raising his hand.
First 2 customers right here. Now that's awesome.
There we go.
And it's just like, it's little things like that, yet again, that makes this custom golf market so awesome. And that's what I love about it. It's just like, it's little things like that like you're not going to find on a shelf at Dick's Sporting Goods, or even on your, at your pro shop. You're not going to find it, like, even like the big companies aren't going to make something like that. They're not going to put the time into that, and if they do, it's like one-offs or whatever. It's just like, you can contact you and get it, like you said, with your name on it, customized to your specifications.
You want gator? You want white leather? You want whatever? I'll get it. I'll make it. It'll look good, and you'll be happy.
It's awesome. I love
it. And you'll have a built-in compass. Come on.
What else could you want? How much more of an advantage do you need? A badass putter and a built-in compass. Come on. No, that's
can't
awesome.
beat it.
I'm so pumped we got on a little embroidery topic there, because that was I was hoping there was something cool behind it, and my God, there was something pretty badass.
Yeah, I'm still perfecting it. It's not completely perfected. I'm still learning. Just like anything else, I'm still learning.
Say, hey, that's an art on its own, and
but we will be pumping some cool stuff out.
I've had to learn to sew recently, and it's tough to learn. It's tough to learn.
Dante's squeezing that in there. I know some testers in the area. Yeah. Who, Dante?
Members of Pine Valley, Dante, right?
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Too funny.
That's awesome, man. Well, hey, we won't hold you up too much the rest of this evening. We seriously appreciate you.
I could sit here all day. This has been great. A lot of fun, man. I appreciate you guys having me.
No doubt. Man. We'll have to get a live from Running Deer one of these months coming up when the weather turns.
That would be. Yo, Dante should do the member guest.
I'm in it. I'm already gonna. Yeah.
No, I'm saying you should do the podcast from the member guest.
We should live from the member guest one evening. All right. Yeah. We're not going to release any information, but that's a pretty damn good idea. Let's lock it in. Let's do it.
Edit that out.
Yeah, we'll clip it.
Edit that out, but leave in the fact that I said edit that out, so people are guessing on what you're edited out.
What did he edit out? Guys, you can't wait for that information that we just edited out. Can't wait to release it, because it's badass edited out information.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, so that is S. Putters. That is Steve Barry. Steve, thanks again for joining us, man. That was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me, man.
I'm going to be on the lookout for some badass putters here in the future, and obviously some badass embroidered material from you as well.
Yeah, man.
So,
all right, man. I
awesome,
appreciate
man.
it. Thanks.
So, guys, you can find us at Enjoy the Walk Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Check out our latest merchandise. We've got some new T-shirts up there, as well as some tees, some golf balls, some sticker packs. Get them on your Yeti, get them on your golf bag, wherever you put your stickers. Get them out there. Enjoy the walk. Carry those clubs. Have fun. And, that's it from us this week. So, guys, as always, enjoy the walk.
Enjoy the walk.
stuff one shot at a time.